What's up? Good morning. How you doing today? Um, my energy's a little off still. It's getting more rooted, it's getting more grounded, but it's a little off, and I'll tell you a story about it in a moment. What I want to talk today is about what I learned this morning about my own anxious, overwhelmed, and insane brain. And if you're watching this live, I want you to say hi to me. Just let me know you're here. I want to know who's here. I still haven't figured out all the stuff with Facebook Live and see like who's watching. I can see who's commenting. Say hi. And I want you to listen to this if you've ever felt yourself like your mind just runs too fast, becomes overwhelmed, and it's wild, and at times you can't slow it down. And sometimes it's genius, but sometimes it feels overwhelming, where you get into cycles of burnout and you're unbalanced and you get stuck all up in your head. What's up? How you doing, Josh? Thanks for saying hi, man. Show me the wizard with you. Yes, I really want to look at power right now, right? And understand how we get in our way, our own way, in our minds when it comes to our power and our sense of well-being. And I have been often called, or I've called myself an overthinker or an overanalyzer. The truth is, when I don't take care of myself, I can become very anxious and overwhelmed very easily. So I want to tell you about what I learned this morning. And I want to tell you why I help people with the same problem that I'm always experiencing. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what happened to me last night. Now, I've been creatively lit up recently, and my mind has been what feels uncontrollable and insane and inspired and exciting, and it's fun and it's interesting, but I can't seem to shut it off all the time. So last night, I try and get to bed around 10 or so. And last night, I was still up at 11 and my brain was just going and I couldn't shut it down. And I literally decided, well, the best thing I could do is I can get out my computer and I could write because I have so many ideas. I can't think about what I'm going to do for a Facebook Live or the things I was committing to writing or like, I can't, I'm just unclear and overwhelmed. Didn't work. Spent a bunch of time writing. It was incoherent. It wasn't helpful. I finally went to bed frustrated and I woke up feeling extremely drained, but still with my mind on fire. Now, I've been doing a lot more running recently, which is great for my energy and great for my health and great for my body. It feels really good and my energy levels, my digestion, and all that good stuff. But like, I haven't been doing as much yoga. So I decided this morning I was going to do a full 1 hour yoga class. I hadn't done one in like a week, and I love yoga. So what do? I turn on the latest yoga class from from Vita Fitness in DC that I'm still a member of, a digital member. And I went ahead and I turned on the latest class, and there's a teacher I've never seen before. And she gets on the screen and she says, "Okay, so we're doing a powerful flow today that's about the third chakra." And like I'm a little into chakras, but basically she was talking about the gut and the stomach. And she said, "We're going to work on building heat and strength in your core because when you're not building heat and strength in your core, or you're not using twists and such to create space, then you are totally ungrounded. You're all in your head and you feel out of control and you never have power and you're grasping for power, grasping for control all the time. And it's not powerful." And it blew my mind because I decided last Saturday that all week I was going to talk about grounded power and helping break down power and teach about power on Facebook and in other groups that I run. So here I am going, what the fuck is going on? Like the universe is providing me this crazy moment where the exact thing I needed is here. So it reminded me of before my divorce when I was 300 plus pounds. And I used to spend all my time in my head. And I felt completely powerless at all times. I felt completely out of control. And I would do weird, codependent, toxic shit to try and grasp for some version of control all the time. And when I finally learned, when she left me and I let go of that and I decided that maybe I can build a great life, and I finally started to learn to feel power in my life, I knew I had to choose to step into courage daily. I knew it was time to learn to open my heart, but it was still hard because I would love to learn and I focused on learning and I had to figure out times to integrate. So if you're like me and you love to learn about how we work and you love to learn about relationships, you love to learn about the body, But sometimes you fail to turn all of it into transformation by creating practices, processes, experiments, whatever, what have you. If you don't integrate the learning or turn it into action, if you're like me and you sometimes do that, just drop a me in the comments. Because like I want to know I'm not alone. And I have this secret theory that a lot of people out there are the same. They love to learn, but they don't bring the knowledge into the wisdom, into their body, right? Into their cells. So if that's you, and you're like me and you do that, you love to learn and fill your brain with information, but don't always apply. By the way, that's me. Drop the me in the comments. I want to know I'm not alone. I want other people to see this. So the challenge though is that when we're always in our head, when we're at a head level, and I know this personally, and I know this because it's exactly what I worked with my client on this morning and with clients on all week and talked about in groups this week. When we're all up in our head, we're never really that powerful. Even if we have a strong and powerful mind, we create like transactional and performance based relationships. We focus on production, performance, and efficiency. We don't connect as well with ourselves, so we burn ourselves out. We don't connect as well as others. And we might create good relationships where we've let go of adversarial relationship, we've let go of transactional relationship, and maybe we have a nice reciprocal, beautiful relationship. But being all up in the head keeps us ungrounded in a way where it's hard to really create intimacy and move towards what I love to call transformative relationships. So back when I was learning to find my power, I lost 150 fucking pounds. Like this is huge. People love asking me about that and love seeing the before and after picture. And I don't talk about it as much anymore. But I lost the last 70 or 80 pounds of that during the divorce and after the separation because I was finally willing to not just work on my head and be in my head all the time and think I could find the right answer and be focused on what I know. I learned to work at my gut level. I learned to make hard choices. I learned to feed my body and fuel my body and literally work on my core with physical activity and movement that created a fire in my belly, if you will. By the way, great book by a guy named Sam Keen. Get that joint, it's amazing. I didn't diet. I didn't do surgery and I didn't do crazy workout programs. I was self-led and I was applying all the knowledge and information that I was learning into taking courageous action every day, into choosing to step into power. But it wasn't about my mind. It was about doing things that integrated these lessons into my deeper awareness, into what I call embodied wisdom. And I learned to communicate my values and my emotions with a clear head, but from my heart and to do the hard thing that came from the gut. When have you felt? I have a sneaking suspicion that many people who watch my stuff, they are like me in many ways. They have a powerful mind and they've relied on it quite a bit throughout their lives. And my question is like, when have you felt like your mind was powerful, but in a way was out of control and you felt ungrounded? When have you been unable to wind down, or when you've been an overthinker or been called an overthinker, called yourself that? When has that powerful mind taken you away from feeling grounded and feeling powerful and really doing deep work and creating great relationships? Or when has it gotten you into a cycle like like I have three clients working on this right now. When has it gotten you a cycle where you kick ass and then you burn out? Or you just get overwhelmed, so you have big, huge visions for things you want to do in your relationship and your career, but you are overwhelmed enough with your everyday life that you find reasons not to start. I think all of us do this in some way. I'm no exception. If you personally have ever felt like that, I see there's a few people watching now. So by the way, you can still say hi to me and tell me you're here. But if you felt like that in your life, if you've been in a situation where your mind is racing, you feel overwhelmed, you couldn't shut it down, you fall into cycles of like burnout and overwhelm, and you've been called an overthinker, and at times people have said that you're not as emotionally available as they want you to be, I want you to drop an emoji that looks either like anger or fear, whatever works for you to kind of like express that feeling, to express that feeling of feeling like your mind is just anxious and crazy and insane and overwhelming. Because at the end of the day, we're never going to get rid of fear, but we can be courageous. And we're never going to stop thinking and maybe overthinking, but we can quiet it down when we learn to drop from the head to the heart and into the gut. So what I want you to leave, yeah, thanks, Josh. Yeah, that's yeah, the devil. Because you know what? When I'm in that state, it can feel like the devil. I can feel inspired, but then I can't actually necessarily always take the action I want because my mind is so sharp and going crazy and overthinking. And it feels like the devil inside of me at times. Like that is when I procrastinate. That is when I get myself all worked up. That is when I'm in young ego. That is when I'm in fear. And I do accidental things to sabotage my success in my relationships. So thank you, Josh. That's actually a perfect one. The devil shows up, you know? So anyway, I'm rambling. What I want you to do is I want you to take this concept away from the video. If you've watched this far, thank you so fucking much for checking it out and hanging with me today. I can feel my energy going right back into my head. So I'm going to take a breath and bring it down. But I want you to leave with this message. If you want to feel less anxious, if you want to feel less overwhelmed, if you want to feel less insane with that big, powerful, beautiful brain that you have, it's time to learn to approach life less from the head and more from the gut, more from our instincts, more from our heart. Yeah, man, Otto, I feel you on that. I love to learn. It lights me up, but it keeps me way up here. Now, if you want to stop overthinking, you want to feel more connected to your gut, to your instincts, if you want to learn to create a fire in your belly that doesn't overwhelm you or drive you insane, then I want you to drop the word armor in the comments because tomorrow I'm going live and drop the Armor Dojo in a deeper dive into teaching us about this exact topic, how to cultivate grounded power and get rid of overwhelm and overthinking. And if you drop that word armor, I'll go ahead and get you a link and make sure you're invited. Or if you're already in the dojo, I'll write it down and I'll make sure to tag you in it. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I know that your time and attention is potentially the most valuable thing on this planet besides your love and your brilliance and your ability to connect with others. So thank you for being here. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. Remember this. We get stuck in our heads sometimes. We get overwhelmed. We will have fear. We will feel powerless. But we always have a choice. You can always learn to create a life that lights you the fuck up by being clear that you have a choice to choose love over fear, courage over comfort, creation over consumption. And if you're feeling that message, let me know because I'll tell you what, every time I say it, I feel it more and more and more. And I want to bring that message into the world. I love you. I'll see you next week, or I'll see you in the dojo tomorrow. Peace.